We're about to dive into one of history's most epic stories, but it all kicks off not with the clash of swords, but with the complete and utter breakdown of its greatest hero. This one moment of crisis is what sets the stage for a spiritual conversation that has echoed for thousands of years. This is Arjuna's dilemma.
I mean, really think about that. The entire conflict here boils down to this single, devastating question. Imagine the one thing you've trained your whole life to do, your most sacred duty, suddenly feels like the most unforgivable act you could possibly commit. That's the impossible spot our hero finds himself in.
So, let's start right there, at the warrior's breaking point. Because this moment of profound despair is the catalyst for absolutely everything that follows.
So get this, the epic begins not with the roar of a battle cry, but with this quiet, anxious question from a blind king, Dhritarashtra. He can't see the battlefield, so he's asking his advisor to tell him what's happening. It just sets this tone of tension and uncertainty, a feeling of darkness right from the very first line.
Okay, so let's turn to the battlefield itself. Because Kurukshetra isn't just some random patch of land, it's something much, much deeper.
The field is called Dharmakshetra, which means the field of righteousness. Now, that name is a massive clue. It's telling us that the outer war we're about to witness is really just a mirror for a much deeper internal battle. A battle over what is right, what is duty, what is dharma.
And the scene is just epic. You've got thousands of conch shells thundering across the plain. Two gigantic armies, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, are lined up and ready to go. A war that's been brewing for generations is about to explode. The tension is at an absolute fever pitch.
And from this massive, wide-angle spectacle, the focus suddenly shifts, pulling us right down into the no-man's land between the two armies.
At this moment, Arjuna is all warrior. He's confident, he's ready. He asks his charioteer, who happens to be Lord Krishna in disguise, to drive him out into the middle of the field. He wants a good, clear view of the enemy. He wants to size them up before the fighting starts.
But what he sees isn't some foreign army or a horde of faceless bad guys. Krishna stops the chariot right in front of Bhishma, Arjuna's own grandsire, and Drona, his beloved teacher. He's not facing an enemy. He's facing his family, his friends, his own flesh and blood.
And in that one single moment, everything changes. The warrior's resolve just shatters. The men he was prepared to kill are the very people he loves and respects. The whole idea of an enemy completely dissolves, and what's left is just this horrifying, gut-wrenching reality.
The psychological weight of this dilemma is so immense that it triggers a total collapse. The greatest archer in the world literally drops his bow.
And this isn't just some abstract doubt, it's a full-body physical rejection of the situation. He says, my limbs fail, my mouth is dry, my body is trembling. He says his skin is burning. His divine bow, the Gandiva, literally just slips from his grasp. The warrior is completely and totally undone by his own heart.
And here it is, the core of his argument. The question he poses to Krishna, and really to us. What is the point of all this? What good is winning a kingdom, he asks, if you have to kill the very people you're supposed to share it with? The entire logic of war just completely falls apart.
So after all the reasoning, after the physical collapse, Arjuna puts his weapons down and makes his declaration. He will not fight. For the greatest warrior of his time, this refusal is absolutely monumental.
Now, it would be really easy to see this as a moment of weakness or failure. But what if this sorrow is actually the path forward? What if this is the yoga of grief?
So the final image we get in this chapter is our hero, just sinking down into his chariot, silent, completely consumed by grief.
And what does Krishna, his divine guide, do in this moment? Nothing. He doesn't offer a quick fix or a pep talk. He is simply present. He listens. And this powerful silence is so important because it creates the space for Arjuna's crisis to fully unfold, making room for a much deeper wisdom to emerge.
You see, this entire chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's grief, because it's this very sorrow, this complete shattering of his identity, that forces him to turn inward. His despair becomes the doorway through which he can finally receive a profound teaching about life, duty, and who he really is.
So we're left with this powerful idea. Arjuna's breaking point became his breakthrough. It was only when he was completely and utterly lost that he became open to true guidance. And this brings the whole thing right back to us, asking us to think, when has a moment of crisis in your own life, a moment of feeling totally lost,
actually become your doorway to a deeper wisdom.